Well, hello, my CNC brothers and sisters. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and we got Sister Kate Tucker here, Sister CNCer. How's it going? Say hi, Kate.
Hey everybody, how's it going? How's it going?
Yeah, so we are here to try to answer some questions with your CNC stuff, and this Q&A live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
Yeah.
so we're going to work on Vectric, your CNC router, your CNC router bits, of course, because that's what I sell. All right. And whatever else.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, so in the last 10 weeks, 11 weeks or so, we were mentoring Kate, and Kate has come along, but over the last year or so, she's learned a lot about her Vectric software too. Who do we got out here, Kate? Got some people on board
Oh,
already. I'm showing
yeah.
29.
Looks like I see a new R2
Uh,
DB.
DB. Yeah, hey, R2.
Ernest. Yes, good evening.
Charlie
How
Tuna. And Mike.
I see Dion's
Tim.
on here. Hi Dion.
Oh, of course. Of course. Hey, Dion.
Yeah.
it wouldn't be this without Dion or Jack in the
I know
shop.
it. We've got
Me and Jack be doing some
Michael,
talking.
Tim Nudd's back. We've got some regulars popping back in here.
Mark and oh, Jack said he sold three of his products. I was bugging out a little bit still, but anyway, I'll come back to that. Gary and okay, well, let's rock and
This
roll.
is
So,
great.
oh
Yeah.
wait, yeah, you said Bob and oh Mike, you said Mike. Unless we got multiple Mikes. Mad, what is it? Madro 3212.
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Well,
scrolling down here.
yeah. Well, hello, everybody. So we are going to Larry Bennett. What's going on, brother? Um, yeah, got my pen here, just so you know. um, so, um, yeah, so we're here to kind of help with CNC, whatever you have, questions that you have, and if there's no
Yeah.
questions, we'll just kind of talk about where we're at, where we're going, and what we want to be, and when we grow up, and actually have some purpose in our creative sides, and say, yeah, this is what I'm really happy doing this. Um, we got 50 people on
Yeah.
board right now. So what I have been doing
Nice.
is I made a Adirondack chair, two of them
Very cool.
on the Phantom, and I asked in that video whether people wanted me to shoot a video on that, and just like everybody and their brother said, yeah, please, but show me how to make it on a long mill, right? So I've been spending quite a few days
Oh
making this
gosh.
design because I cannot walk through how to design uh, an Adirondack chair. That's too
There's
complex to do that,
yeah, there's
but
like a ton of pieces.
yeah, and they're all funny shapes and stuff. Lots of things to take into
Absolutely.
account. But I will shoot a video on how I set it up, and I'll give away the file for free, the G code and everything.
Wow. Very
Yeah,
cool.
nice guy.
Very nice
But you know
guy.
what? I mean, it helps people. It helps people and that stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I actually got both my long mills out right now. I got the 48 hanging right here next to me. That was actually parked back in storage for a little while because I just was tight on space.
Really?
Um, all right, so what do we got? Oh, you've been watching all my videos before your long mill gets here. Good. Do that. All right, I got to drop my chair down. My, 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 my table keeps dropping
Oh
down.
my
I got this
gosh.
hydraulic lift table, and it's got a leak in it or something.
Oh
So
no.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
table
Doug, I
keeps
need a
moving
new
back.
chair. I keep like
Yeah,
dropping every so often during the lives. So,
we
oh
got
my gosh.
Stefan on
Stephen
board
Reed
and
from
uh,
sorry.
yeah. No, take over. This is much your show as it is mine now. We've
Oh,
been so
no, you're
what
fine.
yeah, let's kind of talk about this though. What where you're at now. right? So just so you know, everybody's popped on. You got some CNC questions. That's what we're here to help with. And if not, we'll
Yeah.
just sit here and chew the fat and see where you're at in your career, your CNC journey. I almost said career. Careers, those are out the window. We're in a creative space now. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Um,
well, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I've been working on a 3D project. It's for my
3D, like
mother-in-law,
full blown 3D or 2.5D?
full-blown 3D, like doing the roughing and the ins and the outs, and it's this full-blown like uh hummingbirds and flowers, awesome uh Mother's Day gift. Lord have mercy, this thing is going to be the death of me. I mean, you and I worked on it, and I had it like an 18 by 24, and then I was going to do it on a live edge, and so now I'm like having trouble finding like the right size wood to accommodate that. And as you know, the length of the depth of the wood, I had to plane it down. It was actually interesting. Today I used my hog, and I was kind of shooting a little bit of a video at the same time. And oh my gosh, I had 25, or it was, I think I did 80 inches per minute at a quarter of an inch deep. And I was like, this thing isn't even like missing a beat. I was like, so I let it run for a few passes, and then I reran the tool path. I ran it at 100 inches per minute at half an inch deep. And so I ran that, and I was like, Lord have mercy, this thing's not even like squealing. It's just like, and guys, it was in solid black walnut. This is not something we're not talking about MDF or something like a soft wood. This is like hardcore hardwood. I just was flabbergasted at how, I've used it before, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, the hog. You're talking about the hog, right? That's
Yes, the hog. Did I
rough,
say something
the
different?
roughing bit from IGC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hog.
Oh my gosh. But I was just so blown away by all the things that bit can do. But I really used it. I'd really used it like for cutting out charcuterie boards and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had used it more for charcuterie boards, but this time I used it for flattening because I was actually trying to surface a huge area. I think it was by like an 11 by 15 is what I was using. And I needed to take off at least an inch of material off of this board. And I thought, my God, okay, it's too big for my planer. So that's not going to work. And then I'm like, I could use my surfacing bit, but because the board was on level. So I had to level it on my CNC. And I'm thinking it's going to take off 1/8 of an inch all the way around. It's going to take like 3 hours. Do you want to know how long it took to take off an inch of material, solid black walnut? Make a guess. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, you're asking me. So an inch of material. So you're talking 1 inch deep.
Yeah, the material was almost 2 inches deep, and I needed to take off 1 inch.
Okay.
So I took off an inch of material.
Area? How much of an area?
11 by 15.
11 by 15. Took you 4 minutes.
No. 11 by 15.
Oh, that
so
big.
Pretty good size. Yeah.
So, okay. So I'm going to guess maybe 10 minutes on that. 12?
It took 30 because I had to do it I had 2 passes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 80%.
So I took it down at 1/2 an inch. Because, the hogs, I think you said to run it at like 3/4 of an inch depth is what you used it at. So I was like, I'm going to run it at 1/2 an inch.
Nervous running it that deep.
Man, I know. Well, like I said, it's solid wood. So I, and I didn't want to tear up my surfacing bit because I have that new 1.5 inch surfacing bit with the 4 flutes. I really like that. And I'm like, God, this is going to dull that bit. Yes. Yeah, oh my God. That thing is ridiculous. It's so smooth. So I don't know. I was flabbergasted at how quick I could remove that material without destroying all of my other bits.
And that's black walnut. So you're doing it 1/2 inch. Okay. Well, I can't wait to see the project. So the surfacing bit she's talking about is let's see if I can find it. Can you see that picture of the hog?
Yep.
Am I sharing my screen right now? Yeah, that's what the hog looks like close up.
Yeah,
Let's go back.
it's crazy. It's super powerful.
Yeah. So the
So
oh, well, this thing's not working right now. There we go. Surfacing bits. You're talking about this one right there.
yes,
You got the 1.5.
the
I'm
4.
out of stock. That thing got wiped out so fast. So there's
Yeah, I know. When it hit that insider CNC list, I was like,
yeah, I got more coming.
get that baby.
They'll be here in about a week and a half. Okay, so we got some comments coming up. So if you want some
I
help with
see.
your CNC stuff, let's kind of throw them out. Oh yeah, so let's see. Wait, Anna, I'm just gonna pop one out because I didn't even read it yet. We have bought a CNC and cannot get the G code to work. Anytime we add a photo, it will not read the G code from the file. So, Anna, one of the things with that is it depends on the machine you have. Each machine, your post processor that generates that G code, first of all, it needs to be the right post processor. And that's going to generate, that should be able to see the code. So you may be using the wrong post processor. And I'm going to assume you use Vectric. Kate, pull it up. Pull up Vectric, show her the post processor. I'm testing Kate.
We are, this is our first live, as you know. So let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Where is my Vectric? Oh no.
So the post processor, while she's doing that, is a program that dictates how your design, your CAM software will write the G code, and it's its own program, and it says, oh, we have to insert this. The rules are set in it, so we have to insert these various codes, this various text. So it'll put on the proper extension. So Anna, your machine, if your post processor might be reading a TAP file, but your G code is registered as a text file. Well, watch your comments, but it's kind of odd that it wouldn't get that, and she's doing a photo as well. So where Kate is going?
I was just
are you gonna bring in a project?
Yeah, I was just looking for something simple. Sorry here. All right, so we'll just pick this. So when she's saying a file, I'm kind of wondering if.
Oh, let's see. So it says we bought a CNC machine and cannot get the G code to work. Anytime they add a photo, will not read the code from the file. It may be a problem. It looks like Kate's or my internet has slowed down briefly. So I'm going to assume one of our internet has slowed down. I can't see Kate. So leave a comment if you can hear me. Looks like I might have dropped out briefly. Okay. I guess we lost Kate. Okay. So I guess we lost Kate. So I have to wait for her to log back on. Yeah, she's complaining about some slow internet. Okay. So yeah, the post processor, we're going to switch over. If I'm understanding your question correctly, I'm going to display my screen. And we are going to go into my Vectric. And I'll just create a file. And I'm just going to say OK. And so over in the tools section, down at the bottom, in the toolpath side, at the bottom, at the very end, there's like this little blue floppy disk thing here. When you select that, and it says post processor in here, you need to make sure that that post processor is for your machine. And So assuming you have, like, we'll say a Laguna, you want to click into the post processor. Just click that drop down, and the first thing it's going to say at the top is add a post processor. You select that, and a window is going to pop up, and then you want to come over to the little plus button there, and all the post processors that are in the Vectric software already are populated. And so you select the one that you want. We'll just grab one and click select and then say okay. And now that one is in my list here of post processors. And just before we save the file, we need to make sure that the post processor, the proper one, is there. If you don't find it in the list, then what you want to do is contact your machine supplier, and they will tell you. They will send it to you. So, Kate, say something. Can I hear you?
Yep, I'm back.
Okay, good. All right.
All right. Sorry about that. I literally have no idea what happened. I'm sitting here and my computer just like shuts off and it's plugged in and I'm like, what is happening?
It's the life of this stuff, and it happens. What I just worry about is if I get shut down. I'm hoping that you will stay on board, that the system will let it, because this is my account.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we got, So let's see. We got some other questions here.
Steve, all right. So you got Anna taken care of.
Yeah. Steve is saying, can you go over how to set a job Z touch in the case where you end up cutting away your original Z point? Oh, I love this little problem.
That's a tricky one. I was thinking about that today. I was like, man, we probably ought to discuss this.
Yeah. So I did a project that I had to anticipate that. This is one of the things, it kind of takes a little foresight on your part to know the thickness of your material. And this is the way I compensate for it. I know the thickness of my material. I literally take calipers. I'm going to get them, because if you don't have calipers, you need to get calipers. So these things, right? And I have to put a link underneath this video afterwards. But measure the stock and write the number down, right? And that way, you know the distance off your spoil board. And then what you can do is probe the surface of your spoil board and then manually raise that up, that distance, and re-zero your Z.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah. So for the Onefinity users, so it should show on your touch screen. What Garrett's talking about is when you are raising off of your spoil board, make sure there's a flush point on your spoil board, and then you can raise it up on your touch screen or with your Z axis to the point where it tells you exactly how high your Z is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. I'll show you G Sender too. So we have both Onefinity and long mill users. We got them all here. But so the G Sender, or the Onefinity, does not use G Sender. It has its own interface. But here's G Sender. So what you'd want to do is zero your Z out on the spoil board, knowing your distance. And then once you zero it out, all you do is just you manually raise it up by setting your speed buttons over here. And then you can bring your Z up, and then you can tweak it by changing the numbers down here. So if you just want to come up, say it's 1.52, 1.521, you can change this number here as you move up to incrementally reduce the amount of move every time you click the Z up button. I hope I explained that. Does that make any sense to you, Kate? Did make sense to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it makes sense. Yes.
All right.
Sorry, I was looking for. I want to make sure we stay up with our questions.
Yeah. So while she's doing that, just try, whenever you're running a project, try to anticipate, know your thickness of your material. It's best to just jot it down, the thickness, so you can recover from the surface whenever. Sometimes if you can, and if you know the exact thickness of the material, set your design off the surface of the spoil board. And then all you have to do, you'll never lose your Z. The spoil board is always the Z.
Yeah.
Okay, find one, Kate. We got some other people, Lou and Scott and V Twin. Yeah, we. Who else? Modular, we always saw Steve. Go ahead. Tell me what time.
I just kind of wanted to circle back to Anna's comment because I'm not sure that she's maybe referring to the post processor issue. I'm thinking more along the lines of if she's doing like a V carve, like a photo V carve. I'm not sure if that's what she's trying to do, or if she's trying to take a photo and then trace it. Because I know a lot of people try to do that. Like if they'll try to import an image from Google, and then they'll try to, basically what they're trying to do is they want to carve that particular photo, and instead they have to use the function trace bitmap, and then that kind of, so if it looks like, let me pull up rather
than using a photo carve.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I've had questions from time to time. People have just tried to generate code directly from the picture, and it doesn't do that.
Yes.
Also, Anna, if you are not in the Women Who CNC Facebook group, sign up for it. That's Kate's group. It's built specifically for women. Men are not allowed in that group.
Yes. So let's say, sorry, folks, I have a lot of things open here. Okay. So let's say, for instance, Anna, this is what you've been wanting to do. Over here on the left-hand side, there's a function called trace bitmap. And you can click, once you click it, and then basically it will.
It's the one that looks like the little airplane. Move your mouse around. I want to make sure she can see your mouse. We can't see your mouse.
It's not moving. My Vectric's been really slow lately.
Yeah, I can't see your mouse. Okay, so it's under the second group of icons. It's create vectors, and it's the very bottom one. It looks like a little paper airplane. That's what I think that looks like.
Yeah.
So like blue icon, it points up to the left.
So you can there's all of these different functions under trace bitmap. You can trace it in black and white. You can do it in color. You can mess with the corners.
Go ahead and open it up. Open it up.
It is open. I've got it open.
Oh, it is. It's not showing it on my screen.
That is so weird.
Yeah, it's just like it's still showing your original layout.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I've got it all open and was looking through it. It's tracing the bitmap right now.
Okay.
Is it showing it at all?
No, it just went blank.
Oh. Okay. Well, Anna, I can help you with this definitely, but
I'll try it on my end.
And well, what I wanted to say to her was, if you're doing a trace bitmap, what you're essentially doing is you're taking an image from Google, and then the trace bitmap is going to go in and trace that image. So like, let's say it's like the picture of a G, and you just want to trace that letter G. It's going to go in and it's going to trace what you have, and then it's going to make an actual vector out of that graphic. And then you can go up to your layers panel and turn off the bitmap image, and then you'll just be left with your vector. And then that you will be able to V-carve and transfer to your post processor. That's where I think she's going with that, because I can't envision that a lot of brand new beginners are trying to do a photo V-carve. It's a little more of an advanced technique.
Mm-hmm. Yep. While you're looking for one, I'll run through that real quick in my screen, just so we can. Okay. So I'm going to cancel that. Can you see my screen? You see my activity?
Yes, I see your activity.
Okay. We weren't seeing your activity. So let's see. Okay. So we got this awesome picture of me, right? And so right over here to the left, way over to the left, create vectors. There is where she was talking about. We're selecting on black and white, and we're just not going to play with all these settings here. and it'll click preview and then click accept and close. And that is and then I'm going to turn the bitmap off, and that is Vectric's rendition of my picture at the moment.
Yes.
And
So then you would highlight that image, and that would be what you would want to try and go and run a toolpath off of. Obviously, this would not work, but if you had a simpler image you were trying to work with, this would be how you would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I see I want to go back up to 818. This would be probably more your category, hand wired amps.
Okay. Let me get that in a second. Dion asked a quick question. What percentage can you increase the bit feed with a heavy duty 4x8 CNC? You can increase it 5 to 6 times. Right. So if you have something like a 1/4 inch bit, you can go up to 200 to 300 inches per minute.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, and then V1 asked, did any of you long mill guys get the dust shields? Do they work?
Okay. 818. Is that where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. So the dust shields, I got them. As a matter of fact, I'll see if I can show them to you. They're over here on this machine here. So while you're looking, Kate, I'm going to swing this one around. Because I can't carry my camera over there. So I can carry my machine back.
Isn't he the coolest? He's just like coolest sliced bread.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can't get the camera into it, but I got them right here. They're on there. They do work.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say go for it.
Woodinfinity just came out, or not Woodinfinity, but some people that make blue, or not blue, I think they're like dust bristles or something, and you can put them on the sides of your rails, and they're supposed to keep everything really clean. So I think that's pretty cool.
Gotcha. Looking at the long mill for aluminum. Kind of aluminum instrument panels, 0.08 deep, 10 inch.
0.1 or 0.10.
Sheet, any tips, and do you offer aluminum bits? We'll be using your link. So I do appreciate that you'd be using my link. So with aluminum, you want to use upcut bits. My 1/4 inch is one that would work for that. The 1/8 inch is not really designed for that. So I'm not really stocking up on bits specifically for aluminum just yet. So the only one that would really work is the 1/4 inch upcut and the diamond engraver for an engraving bit. Although my 3D bits will work on aluminum. I've already carved a 3D project on aluminum with the 3D with the taper ball nose.
Okay.
Any tips? Yeah, aluminum, you got to run a little bit slower in your feed rate. Well,
I'm so glad you know, because I have no clue.
I was running 60 inches per minute with aluminum with a taper ball nose, right? But it's only taking off such a small amount. Step over. Okay, you got one?
So Mark at 821, he asked me what is my rate for a one-on-one. Mark, if you would like to send me an email over on my website at riseandshinewoodsigns.com, you can send me an email and we can talk about if you want just one session or if you're wanting like a kind of like grouped rate sessions. There's different rates for different things. So shoot me an email, riseandshinewoodsigns.com. Just look up that, and then over on my website there's actually a contact panel and you can shoot me an email directly through there.
Yeah, actually that's taken care of in the description of this video. If you're in Facebook, I think it's up there. Kate's email is there. If you're in YouTube, it's going to be down in the comments. My email and her email are both there. Just word to the wise, we do not do a lot of troubleshooting over email. right? I
Yes.
get 75 to 100 emails a day. So if I keep getting questions, I ask people to stop. That is because then you need to set up a one-on-one. I don't do one-on-ones. Kate does.
Yes. I will do my best. I promise. I do get a lot of emails too, and I do my best to try and keep up with them all. Um, so bear with me if I don't respond right away. I usually try to get to them all at least within 24 hours.
Yeah. Timber Falls
Um,
said that Anna's file size could be too large for her controller. That could possibly be true. What happens is the controller, the G code is being sent to the controller, and if the controller, the CPU can't handle the inbound as fast as it's distributing the outbound G code information, then it's going
mhm.
to start bogging up. And you I've seen it before where the machine will stall temporarily, then it moves on because it hasn't caught up with all the code coming through. So
Yeah.
that depends on the processor.
I just had actually that happen with my laser. I had a big photo I was doing for someone, and I had to bring the size down because it was just my laser was like doing all kinds of weird things, and it just was not doing well with it.
Chris said he made some roller shields. Only just finished the assembly, uh,
Nice.
so he hasn't used them yet. And he has a Masuda Pro. Okay, I have not seen that machine. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Oh, we have Gustavo. Hi from Chile. That's pretty cool.
Chili, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen. So what while Kate's looking through comments, let's see what I'm up to. Oh well, the beast router bit is slated to come out in a little while, and in about 3 weeks. Right, I just released the 3/16 compression bit, and in 4 hours sold out completely. 4 hours. Um, now
That's
I
a lot.
released when I do a new release, I release it to the CNC insiders email list first, and they when I do a new release on bits, I always give them a discount, right? So CNC insiders, they were the ones that wiped me out of stock on that. Same thing with the Beast. I will release that, and CNC insiders will know about it first, and then we get a very special discount code. Right. So, but
Yes.
there's the logo for the beast right there. What do you think? Okay, so Kate's got a little surprise there. Go ahead, bring it up. Bring it up. She has
Boom.
she's got
Look
it.
at that. Look how beautiful it is. Can you see it? It's kind of hard
So
with.
yeah, so it looks like the hog, but it's a modified hog.
Yes. Let me. Ugh, you know what? I will go grab my hog. Do you have a hog? I would go grab mine, but literally it's in my CNC right now. Like I could go move it and grab
I
it,
got
but
one. I got one right here.
surely you have one floating around there. It looks very, very similar to the hog, except for this one is shorter. So the actual hog, it's like I actually measured it today. It's 2 3/4 inches thick. The thing to remember about these bits, and I just saw Garrett do a video on it. I actually watched it about making sure that you're using these bits really safely because you want to make sure that your collet comes down um, at least the width of or the height of whatever your diameter of your bit is. So if your bit is only 1/4 inch thick, you want to make sure that at the top of this little like where it comes down and the chuck of the bit or the shank of the bit starts to go round and all the way around solid, you want to have at least like 1/4 of an inch up here up above it, and then the same thing for an 1/8 inch bit, because you do not want this sucker to come flying out of your machine. Or let's say, sometimes the routers get so, the Makita routers especially, they tend to kind of get like bogged down, and then that dial will start to slow. And if your machine, the router is going around and around, what will happen is it will bend, and then it's going to be flinging your project around, and God forbid this were to come out of the router at you. So really make sure to take care to use these bits safely, because we do not want to hear that you were injured by a bit and you're in the hospital. Because a
Right. Yeah.
$19,000 rotating RPM is going to be coming out at you.
Yeah. These bits won't bend. These will break. Like the
Oh, well,
carbide
that's good
bits
to
will
know.
break. Yeah. They do not bend, but you do have flex. It's called bit deflection. But so there's the one on top. Let's see if we can get this right. The one on this is a hog, and that's the beast. Okay, you can see it's shorter flutes. It's also got a thicker core to it. So um, I am going to. I've done 600 inches per minute on the Phantom at 3/4 of an inch deep. I want to go. I'm going to go take it to a 600, and then I'm going to go to 1,000 on it too. I'm trying to break the bit.
God, please don't break the bit.
Okay, let's see.
All right. Yep. That's where I was going.
Okay, we got a machine that has a USB Mach 3 card. Is there any benefit to replacing the card with the Arduino and G code? Using G sender to learn Mach 3 on use. Okay, so Mach 3 is I've looked at it just by virtue of being on Zoom with other people, and I'm not sure you want to even dive into that. You're gonna have to replace your board on your machine. Okay, Arduino, as you know, is the Arduino or Arduino is actually how it's pronounced, is a circuit board, and GRBL is the firmware on the circuit board, and then you have like G sender on top of that. All right, so um, I'm not at the end of the day, I'm not the technical guy to be able to answer that question, but it's a good question. What I would do is go to CNC troubleshooters and ask there. CNC troubleshooters Facebook group.
Nice.
It's not a big group, but it's there. And speaking of Facebook groups, you got the CNC entrepreneurs. That's the one that I started a couple of years ago. There's 31,000 of us floating around in there. We
A lot
got
of people.
Kate's. Yeah, we got Kate's that women who CNC.
Yep.
Right,
On
built
Facebook.
for women. It's Facebook group for women who want to CNC. So
Yes.
find that. What else we got?
Yes. And then for any ladies who are watching, if you're not on here tonight and you don't happen to get your answers or your questions answered, I'm actually doing an individual live within the group tomorrow, so we can answer and talk. Use our lady language. If you have questions and you don't know what things are, that's okay.
Right. And that's one of the reasons that Kate started that group, because women talk a different language. It sometimes floors the hell out of me. You guys will talk and you'll do, yeah, it's just that round swirly thing that goes in and out. And I'll be going, what the hell are they talking about? But the other ones understand. You guys like totally getting it. Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get it 100%.
Stefan, explain the setup to use the planer blade to flatten boards. I guess we're not supposed to plunge with it. Okay. So I'm assuming you're talking about the surfacing bit.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's
I
what's away
shot
from
a
that.
video. I gotta put notes. Women who CNC, because that's got to go in the description. And
Sure,
entrepreneurs. Okay, so I created a video about that, but I've got to go get a surfacing bit and a board, and then I'll explain.
Or we could have just done it on Backtrack. Ding dong.
No, I could, but I like demonstration too. So this is an inlay I did. By the way, this file is free to you if you want. It's an inlay file. All right.
Pretty cool.
So you do a search on YouTube for how to do an inlay Vectric, and my video will come up. It takes you all the way through the entire, literally from start to finish, how to design it, set up on the CNC, how to get it finished all the way down to this. And then you get that file for free as well. Yeah. So if you want to make an inlay, this is a cool first inlay. You always want your surfacing bit to come to the side of the project before you start carving into it. Surfacing bits do not have cutters in the middle. Right. So if you try to come down on top of the board, all you're going to do is plunge that in and it's just going to burn your board. It's going to burn it super fast, and it's going to start dumping heat into your bit really, really fast. So fast that even you going over to hit the e-stop button, your bit has already heated up and it's starting to overheat. Okay, and the heat is the worst enemy when it comes to CNC router bits. Yes, I can show you in Vectric real quick, but I have a video that walks you through this whole thing.
There you go.
Yep. I hope that made sense, Stefan. You always want to, you just create a box bigger than the project. I got Vectric launched, so what the hell?
We're
Okay, with
just
that
gonna go
squirrely,
for it.
yeah, with that squirrely picture of me, I'm going to change this. Let's get rid of that picture. Um, so we got a project. I'm just going to make this 10 by 10. And I'm not worried about the thickness of the material because we're just surfacing it. So now we got a 10 by 10. What I'm going to do
Hey,
is do a
real
pop.
quick, take 2
Yeah.
seconds, ditch the comment because it's kind of like blocking part of the
Oh,
screen.
my bad. Thanks for letting me know.
Nope, you're fine. I just want to make sure people could see.
Okay.
There you go. You're good.
Yep, I guess I gotta get back to that where I'm sharing the screen. Okay.
I still see your Vectric. You're good.
Okay. All right. So if I've got a 1-inch bit, I'm just gonna draw a picture of a 1-inch bit. So there's a circle that's 1 inch diameter. I clicked and there it is. Okay, so we want that. Come on, there we go. We want that bit to start off the project over here, and we want it to come all the way across and run off the project over here, then move over and start coming back and going all the way across. You always want that bit to follow along the grain. You don't want to do it. You want to do it in what they call a raster cut. So how do we make sure that happens? We have a 10-inch board and a 1-inch bit. So we have to add at least the diameter of the bit to both sides. If this is the start direction over here, and it's going to come across that way. And it's the way we do that, we're going to do it in what we call a pocket cut. We're going to create a rectangle, and that rectangle size, first of all, we're going to square up that rectangle. There we go. And the rectangle size, we have a 10-inch project, a 1-inch bit. We got 1 inch on each side. So that's 12 inches. Plus, we want to add maybe a half of an inch to each side just to make sure there's a little distance between the board and the bit when it comes down into it. So the width of that is going to be 10, 12, 13 wide. And then the height, since we're going side to side, we're just going to add maybe a half inch to each side. So the 12 or 11. And close. I just made that rectangle. I'm going to center up that rectangle under transform objects, the last icon, right up at top. Just hit that button and the rectangle is now good to go. I'm going to create the toolpath real quick using the pocket cut. We're going to go just for a depth, not much. I got 0.2 already in there. There's a surfacing bit in here. It's a 1.5 inch surfacing bit. Remove that. Select the 1 inch. By the way, if you don't have if you have Vectric, Carbide Create, Fusion, or Carveco, on the IDC Woodcraft website, you have the database that you can download and import into your software. So you don't have to manually enter that information. Okay.
It's
What you're looking at
amazing.
what you're looking at right here is the entire IDC Woodcraft database. And if you click a bit, right, you got all your information right there. If you have to reorder it, it's right there. I give you every which way you can. Get the phone app too, because it's got all the same feeds and speeds on it. Where's those surfacing bits? They are right down there. 1 inch. Oh, and I've got the only surfacing bit on the planet that is for 1/8 inch shank routers. Okay, going to go to raster. The only one on the planet. No one will make it because it costs too much to make. So there's not enough margin.
It's a baby.
It is a baby. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
I'm sure.
So there's not a lot of margin. So now you can see the router bit goes off the edge on each side, and it'll never plunge into the material. So I hope that explained it to you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That was from Stefan. So, Stefan, I hope you got that. See anyone that you want answered?
So I think not so much for me, but Dion at 8:30. I'm just kind of going through some of them. There's some conversation going on around tables.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
nope,
good.
not
You
that
guys have
one.
not
Well,
that
that's
one.
8:32, two above that.
Two above that.
But yes, that's a good
You
one.
guys go ahead and talk to each other. I mean, that's good. We're having conversation, right?
Yeah.
Are you two using an iPad to run the G-Sender program? No, G-Sender is Windows based.
Yeah. And I don't use
Is it kick?
G-Sender
Yeah,
through Onefinity.
yeah. OneFinity has its own software. Now, Longmill is you will get a notification in your G-Sender shortly as there's going to be an update. Okay, and what that update is, it's like 3 notches above as far as what it can do. You're going to get a major update and it's going to be much better. You're not going to see a lot of difference on the window on the interface, but the behind the scenes, it's much more powerful, and also there will be more tools in it. But G-Sender will not run on the Mac platform unless you use a Windows emulator, like Parallels is one of them.
And then I saw you clicked on a couple people got their bits. Yay.
Good.
Very nice. Gary, that 3/16 bit is so nice.
Use
And
the
then
3/16 down cutter or the.
I'm going to assume possibly the new one.
Oh, okay.
Will you have your silver bullet, the 3/16? But I don't know. Didn't you just released another
Oh,
3/16, didn't you?
yeah. So I got a 3/16 down cutter. That's called the Silver Bullet, right? Why do we want to use a 3/16? All right. So we have the 1/4 inch, which is a big fat bit, and then we have the 1/8 inch, which is a little skinny bit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 1/8 inch is prone to break, but it gets in, just because it's so thin, right? But it gets in, it makes nice tight corners where the 1/4 inch can't. And so what the 3/16 does, it helps you compensate. You get the strength of a 1/4 inch while you can get a much tighter corner in your corner cuts. You can't quite
Yeah.
get the radius of a 1/8, which is a 1/16 of an inch radius. But yeah, so we got the Silver Bullet and then the 3/16 compression bit. Again, that one sold out immediately with the CNC Insiders. If you're not on CNC Insiders, get on the list. I'll put a link down below, but you can always search it on Google CNC Insiders, and you should be able to find the landing page for that. And the landing page is where you sign up for the list. And then in about a then you'll get information on the Beast when it comes out and when the 3/16 comes out again. And I expect to sell out of both of them again. All right, I can only stock so much before I even get them out to the public.
They are good. Oh,
So
good bits.
yeah. Okay, so Anna said she thinks she needs to use the program we have. She uses Inkscape. So Inkscape's your design software, and I've never touched Inkscape. Have you ever used it?
Yeah, actually, Anna, I use Inkscape quite a bit. So the software is a lot more in depth. Inkscape is because it's meant more for graphic design. So they do have a trace bitmap function in Inkscape that you can use. Then you can save it as a vector. But the thing with Inkscape is you want to save it as a regular SVG and then pull that into Vectric as a vector, not as a bitmap. Because right next to each other on Vectric, there says, upload a file for a vector and upload for bitmap. But just paying attention to saving it in Inkscape as a plain SVG versus an Inkscape SVG, because if you save it as an Inkscape SVG, it will not open in anything else other than Inkscape. So be sure that you're aware of that when you're saving it.
Learn something new every day.
I love
Cherokee
Inkscape.
Vapor popped in. What's up, Cherokee? How do you change the grid size for drawing by VCarve Pro? I don't have the grids
Like
on
in
that
your
much.
settings.
Yeah, do you know how to change it?
I am pretty sure. Let me do. I don't know. I know you can't see me, but I know you can't see it.
Well, show your screen.
Well, but my thing is it's acting all like weird.
Okay, I can hear you while I got my stuff up. So let's
Yeah.
bring it up here. All right, so
So
your grid is up on top, right? Is it one of
yeah,
these buttons? There it is, right here.
yeah. The grid way
So
up high.
so way up high at upper right, you got all those icons up here. Your first two are your snap on and off, right? Then the third one from the left is your grid, and that turns the grid on. Let me turn that toolpath off. So where do we change the grid at?
Okay. Oh no. Visible guidelines. Gosh dang it.
Or if someone else in the comments can just put that in there. I've changed them before, but I almost never use grids. What's the benefit of a grid is, so I'm going to draw a line and oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, yours is different. Yours looks different than mine. I don't have all that.
Yeah, my grid is changing as I zoom in, but with the snap turned on, my
That's
line
why.
tool, it'll snap to the grid. So I can just pop over to any grid. So we will look that up, try to figure that out. Someone in the comments, if you could share how
Yeah.
to set
And I
your
will
grid.
tell you, if you are not in one of either like the Vectric forums or anything like that, I know like Onefinity, there's the Onefinity CNC forum. I'm sure there's a long mill forum. But if you type up anything like how to change your grid in Vectric and on Google, and then type that in and search, it'll come up with some type of forum. And then there's like thousands of people with answers in there. I have used that so many times when I've had a problem.
Forums drive me nuts. I can never find the answers that I want. But I'm
Yeah, I
so
love
impatient
forums. They're
because I'm not
great.
a reader. I'm not a reader.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Tim said he was well versed in Arduino. So sorry, Tim, I was probably talking below your level on that one when I was talking about it. But to advise other people, what is the Arduino platform? And now you know.
so
Mike,
go ahead.
this is from from Mike. He's used Mach 3 on his 3018 and switched it over to Gerbil to get better options and software usage. Switch to Candle and then UGS. And I have moved away from Well, I never used Candle. I moved away from UGS to GSender because UGS is not worked on anymore. Right? It's like old Windows 1929
It's like DOS.
type. Yeah, it's like DOS. It's like the next level from DOS. GSender is always being worked on, so it's pretty current with what we got. That's my take on it.
Yeah. So I think V-Twin asked a really good question. What is a compression bit used for? I know a lot of people are curious about that. So would you mind going into a little detail about a compression bit?
Yeah. I'm gonna bring up my see if I can so if you're going to the IDC Woodcraft site, you can type right in the top in the search bar. See, it says what bit are you looking for? So I'm going to look up compression and search, and there's all your compression bits. So I'm going to bring up this image, this 1/8, right? Okay. So you see on a compression bit, it's got this downward spiral. It's a down spiral or a down cut, but it stops just shy of the bottom. And then you got these two little ears there. If we can look at those from the side, if I have the right image for it, I don't think I do. Can you see
Well, go back. I
that
think you
image?
did have it on one of your other photos.
Okay, so let's go back.
No, it was within there. There you go.
Well, so at the top, the flute direction reverses. Okay, and the reason for that is the reason we have a down bit, I want to go back to this type of picture here. Okay, this spiral that direction, if you're spinning it clockwise from if you're looking down at the top, it's going to spin around clockwise, and that shear, that big long screw, as it's turning, is screwing down. So what it's doing is down shearing the cut, and what that does is that leaves a clean cut at the top of the project. But what will happen at the bottom if you're cutting out a project and that down shear goes all the way through, you'll get tear out at the bottom because that downward spiral screw is pushing your wood downward. And it's just what tear out is those little sharp corners that you should have. It's pulling up fibers of wood, and so it's not so clean. And so you have the upward cut at the end to bring you an upcut just at the very end. And what that does is now you're leaving clean cuts along the top of the cut, and you have clean cuts at the bottom of the cut. And that's why we use compression bits. They call them compression bits because the spirals are coming together. And so they're basically technically they're compressing the wood chips from the bottom part of the upcut. Let's see if we can find an upcut spiral. The hog is an upcut spiral. Okay, so the chips will be riding up and out of the bit. Whereas on the other one, on this guy here, the spiral's going down, it's pushing chips down, but that little last part is pushing chips up. You're getting a clean edge on top and bottom. So
Now,
compression bits. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
I was just going to ask, would you recommend the compression bit or the O-flute bit on material like PVC and
O-flute all the way.
Okay.
Don't even touch it with a compression bit. Yeah, don't even touch it. Don't touch plastics with a polys with a standard end mill. It's going to chew it up. It's just going to look like shit. The reason.
Well, there you go, guys. Now you know. You've been called out. So, don't use. So tell them what types of materials you would typically get your best results on with the compression.
So wood is what you're going to use on that.
Okay.
Compressions, they're primarily for cutouts, but you can use them for any, your pocketing cuts as well.
Yeah. You're up and
thing
down cut.
Thing with compressions that you want to be a little careful about. More so with the down cuts. If you're working down in a deep slot, all you're doing is the wood chips are getting compacted down the bottom. And if you're making multiple passes in a slot or something, you're heating things up, right? And down cuts have been known to cause fire, right? Don't ever drill with a down cut. Don't ever drill with a down cut.
Life lessons here, folks.
But did I forget to say, don't ever drill with a down cut? You are
I
asking
see so
for
many
your
people
doing
things like that when they're making those. What's that game that's really popular in Canada where people are making those little pegboards?
The cribbage boards.
Yes, cribbage boards. And I'm like, oh, please, for the love of God, don't use an end mill, please, please, please. I'm like,
bits for that.
That's what you have like a specialty fit bit for that. So
the lightning bits.
Yeah. All right. So there is Autumn had
I'm gonna explain what an O-flute bit is real quick. And why you use that on plastic, okay, with the acrylics and the PVCs. So an O-flute bit, here we go, share my screen again. God, Kate, I'm getting too much real estate time on my computer. You need to be getting in there.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have to check this. O-flute.
But you know what? This is like 90% of CNC. It's the bits and it's how to use them and when to use them. And you're the bit guy. So.
Yep. So an O-flute, you're going to notice, if you look at it, okay, it's got one cutting edge, got these weird cuts in there. But the thing with an O-flute bit is, here we go. Yep, that wasn't. Where was the other one? Okay, so the O flute bit is one spiral. It's really deep, and it spirals up the bit really, really fast. Okay, and what that's
Mhm.
designed to do is get that plastic out of the way as fast as possible. So, because otherwise it will stick around, and the minute it's cutting that plastic, it's melting the plastic at the same time. So you got to get out of there really fast. And so
Yes.
that's what an O flute bit is designed to do. So at IGC Woodcraft, we got the 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and 16th inch O flutes.
Yeah, those are really great. And I will tell you, if you guys ever go over to my website, you'll see that I make a big, huge sunflower, and that is all made out of PVC because a lot of people really like to hang them outside. And so they're seal coated. But when I cut that PVC material, if I were to use any other bit other than that O flute, I would be like sanding and it would be a mess. And I did honestly make one sunflower where I used just an upcut bit, but I still had like hours of sanding. And then I discovered this O flute bit and I'm like, oh, snap, game changer.
Yeah.
So really don't be afraid to research what type of bits you need. So I saw
This is a PVC
yes.
here, cut with an O flute. It's just
Smooth. So smooth.
yeah. I just want to answer Mark's question real quick.
Yeah.
Is it Garrett? Have you ever gotten disconnected from G-Sender? If you move your computer, just touch USB cable when you have to reconnect the long mill. I have had that happen, and I don't know what caused that though.
So
what sucks about that is you have to shut everything down and restart it, and then the machine may be right in the middle of the cut. Right. This is why you want to always think about how thick is my material and where's my zero reference position based on some other position if you can find it. So go ahead, Kate.
okay. No, you're fine. I was just going back to comments at 840 Autumn 265.
840. Okay.
Yep. Sorry, we're growing up just a little bit there. Trying to make sure we hit all the folks. When engraving acrylic, do you run the spindle or not the spindle? I have seen and read both ways and was wondering which is the correct way.
Oh, okay. So there's two ways of doing acrylic. You want to answer that, Kate?
No, not really. Because I feel like I've read a lot of both and I really haven't done a lot of acrylic projects. Okay. I know there's different types of acrylic, but
yeah. So you have the O flute bit, which is a cutter. That's where the spindle is turned on. Then you have the diamond engraving bit, which is called a drag bit. And when you're using that, the spindle is not turned on.
So not turned on is the correct way.
With a drag bit. When you are engraving, you should be using a drag bit. If you are cutting it, then you will use the O flute bit. So this is the drag bit, diamond drag bit. So that the spindle does not turn on. So that's why they call them a drag bit, right? If it's a drag bit, the spindle does not get turned on.
Got it. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, here's one for you, Kate.
Okay. Man, the Oramask. I feel like this is such a boggling thing. I feel like I need to do like a whole series on Oramasks. I was just telling Garrett this the other day. Please explain the utilization of Oramask 813. Do you allow the paint to cure before apply the matter surface coat? And do you allow, I think you meant to apply matte, before apply the matte surface coat? And do you allow the matte surface coat to cure before applying the Oramask? Okay, so number one, I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. Use a flat paint, matte, chalk, anything like that if you are using paints in Oramask. When you use acrylic paint, the Oramask will not stick. So if you are painting a full sign, gosh dang it, I wish I had a sign in here. I think I might have some somewhere, but they're on the other side of my shop. All right. So when you are painting the base of your sign, you're going to paint it with some type of matte, chalk, flat paint. Okay. You can get it from wherever you want. You're going to sand that really quickly so you can paint your surface. Then you're going to sand it with like some 220 just with your hand, like, and then you're going to wipe it off. And then you're going to come back with your next layer of paint and you're going to paint it. And then you're going to get your next, your sandpaper, and you're going to wipe it off, like get a rag, wipe all the dust off. And then you can put your sealant that I've used in my YouTube videos. Let me grab it really quick.
Kate is the Oramask queen for sure.
Okay. When you are using, this is what you want to spray over that. And then you will want to, here, if anybody like wants to take a screenshot of their screen, it's just a Rust-Oleum. And remember, it's matte.
Rust-Oleum. Okay, Rust-Oleum.
Matte clear. Okay. Then you can spray that over it really, really lightly. And then you let that cure. Maybe, I think it says like, you know, if you're doing light coats, I usually give it like 10 minutes. And then once it's dry, then you can put your Oramask on and you should be good to carve. The secret is using light colored bases. This, I don't know what it is, for the love of me. Black paint will not stick to Oramask. So if you have like a sign, this is your sign, and the whole thing is painted black, and you're trying to put Oramask over this whole thing and then carve it, save yourself the heartache. It will not stick. I don't care if it's black flat paint and you spray it. I've tried it 6 ways to next Sunday. It's not going to stick. Now, black stain. Stain is a whole different ballgame. You can stain it black, but you don't have to use this. You know what? I'm going to make a whole video on this. I feel like I need to get, because there's an application for water-based stained. There is an application for oil-based stained. There is an application for paint, and all kinds of other. And then there's applications for when the sign is carved, and then when it's carved, and then you want to paint it. You need to do sanding, sealer. There's all kinds of different tips and tricks. I'm going to do a whole video on it because I feel like this is the number one question as a sign maker I get asked, how to get those crystal clear lines. Let me hang on one second. I want to show you something really cool.
Well, you can keep on talking since you got your Bluetooth mic going on there.
Yes, I do. I do. Okay.
Oh, no. I think we got your computer mic.
What?
It sounded quite different. When you were away, it sounded like you were away from your computer.
Oh, okay. So this is when I messed up. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? So I made this for a paint party I actually just had last week. And they all wanted these monograms, and then they all wanted separate words carved. This color, I think, is a horrible color. I don't like it. But it was a combination of 2 water-based stains that I had, okay? I want you to look at, I'm going to grab this corner here.
Hold on, Kate. I'm going to see if I can bring you full screen. Say something.
Hello? I think I'm backstage.
You're not back. You're not backstage. I'm just trying to switch you to full screen. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Okay. All right. So do you see how tight this is on here? Okay. And how it is not pulling the stain away. Okay. This is a water-based stain. I did not do anything to this other than put the water-based stain on here, and I gave it a quick 1-2 sand with some 220, and then I dusted it off and I put the Oramask on it. But like when I do my paint parties, they have to put sanding sealer in these grooves and they paint around here. Okay. So that's what they do, because when you don't have a good seal, like this, and you're not peeling on the board, then you're going to get massive bleeding underneath these lines. And that's a huge problem for a lot of people. And that's where I see a lot of people really struggling. Okay. So like I can even take this and flatten it back out. And it should, that's how much of a grip your Oramask should have on your signs. So, and that's the same thing for like these. And you can use like a little pick or whatever. When you're using your picks, I want you to think of it like getting your teeth cleaned. You're just going to get like underneath the masking a little bit. Well, this one has glue on the top of it, so I'm sorry. But you basically just want to get like the tip of it and then flick it up. That's all you need to do. So I promise you guys, I will work on a video next week with all things Oramask. Sorry if that was a little bit of a ramble, but hopefully it helps.
Yeah. Excellent. I think there was another one that you had found that you wanted to answer.
It's so funny. I keep having a quick flashback as a side note. Stephen Reed. I used to have a high school friend that lived in Plainfield, and his name was Stephen Reed. And I'm always like, is that him? So I think he went to be an attorney, so I'm not sure.
That'd be kind of cool. We got Little Red Barn on board.
Oh, that's Stephanie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Hey, girl.
What'd she say? I have to learn to tram my router and flatten my wasteboard. Tram. Let's talk about tramming a little bit. All right. So tramming your router. No? Okay. Sometimes you get lucky. Tramming is making your router axis perpendicular to your work surface or your spoil board. If that, and this is exaggerated, but if this is the router bit and it's out of tram, then it's not perpendicular to your board, and then when it's making its cuts, it's going to leave little grooves in the spoil board. It'll leave little grooves in your project. A lot of times people misinterpret a tram problem when it's not really a tram problem, and that is when you're doing like a pocket cut and then like around lettering, and then that last cut around the letters, it's like it seems like it's at a different level. Have you ever run into that?
Yes, actually, I had that problem when Richard was here. Mine was doing that, but I honestly thought it was because when I was running the tool path, I was running a 1/4 inch, and then I was running a separate tool path for the 1/8 inch. And I remembered you telling me that if you basically don't run them like in the same tool path in the same tool, so like select your 1/4 inch bit and then select your 1/8 inch bit underneath it, and then run them together and then just change the tool, because the software doesn't know how far to tell the second bit to come down. But I was recently watching your video on, when you get marks like that are different heights. And I wondered, because I was using 2 down cut bits, but I was still getting that. And I'm like, maybe you can elaborate, because this is where I'm a little even baffled.
Okay. When I wish I could go back to this if I had a picture of it, but there's a video I have out there. It's titled "The Science of Down Bits." Right, down bits are spirals that are spiraling downward as they're making their cut, and that's by its very nature of a screw spiraling downward, it wants to move upward, and so what you're doing is you're getting upward pressure on that, and it's just slight. Even the wood, it's upward pressure either in the tool or the down, or it's, that upward pressure is turning the downward pressure on the board. And so when it's making a full diameter cut, it doesn't really notice it on your project, because you always have the same amount of pressure at the bottom of the cut. But the minute you're making like half of a cut, like it's doing the finish cuts around a letter, now there's not nearly as much pressure downward because the material's already gone.
So,
for half the cut.
so do
And
you
so
just
now,
take, go ahead.
all you do is a final last pass. You either do a second, what they call finishing pass,
Hmm.
right? Which just
Like in your
basically
edit
just cleans it.
passes.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
set
Your
a
edit
last
passes.
pass.
You said set a last pass,
Okay.
and yep.
That'll take care
Um,
of it. Nice.
yeah. I guess that's a little more advanced that not a lot of people know. I don't think.
Yeah, that's
The
so.
edit.
Well, I was wondering, even the science behind that, I was wondering if adjusting your step over would have anything to do with that. So then that way the pressure wouldn't be as great when it's trying to take as much down.
Well, if we got letters in the middle of this project and we're trying to like do a raised text type of project,
Yes.
you can't do anything about it because
Now
Vectric
see,
is deciding when and where it's going to cut around the letters and how much
oh,
material
okay.
is going to be left.
Okay.
All right, there may be some settings in there, but the last pass, edit passes.
Yep.
So I'm in the tool path that's doing that surfacing thing. And we're going to the button edit passes. All right. And we select that. And now we have down at the bottom, it says number of passes. And we want to do a finish pass. So there's a little checkbox right in the middle. It says set last pass thickness. You can
Yep.
check that, and we'll just say our depth of cut is 0.05 on this. So we'll just say the last would be a 0.01. And we
Okay.
apply, and now we can see there's a last pass that's been created in here. And up in the window here, it's telling us our first pass is going to be 0.04, and our final
Mm.
pass will be at 0.05.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what's the difference? So I turn that off, and we just, well, here, let's do this. I'm going to change that to 0 and apply, so that goes back to nothing. Oh, cancel that. All right, go back in. We can change our number of passes. Down at the bottom, it's going to split them in half. So it'll be 0.2025025.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand the difference there.
Okay.
So we just want to set a last pass and then set that to maybe a 0.01. And
Yeah.
that will get you a good cleanup.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know. Richard, I hope you're watching, because when he was here, my machine did that. When I use birch or any type of hardwood, I very ever seldomly. But if I work with pine, 100% every single time.
And if I got a comment hanging out there when I'm sharing screen, say something because I can't see it.
Okay, got it. V Twin said at 8:49. I just started with Inkscape, and I don't know what that is. Estelcane? And
Yeah, I
Vectric
believe
just
that's
makes everything easier.
yeah. ISO
Yeah.
cam I'm assuming it's just a cam software. There's CAD and there's cam. CAD is your
Yeah.
computer aided design, which is what Inkscape is. Cam is your computer aided manufacturing or machining, and that's in the Vectric software.
Yeah.
You've got both. All right, so in the Vectric software, close. This side is the CAM side, CAM, computer aided machining or computer aided manufacturing. This side is the CAD side, computer aided designing.
Nice.
And that's what makes it so much easier than trying to do two different programs like EaselCam and Inkscape.
Yeah. So let's see.
V-Twin said click for changing the grid, click edit, then snap options to change the grid spacing.
Sweet.
Okay. Kate, what are your thoughts on the new
On the
120
new,
Elite machine?
well, I think it's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. So I was watching a video on it the other day. I don't want to get too in depth on it. But the really, really cool thing about Onefinity is you can take the gantry off and like send that back, trade it in, and then you can get the new rail, and that's a program exclusively to Onefinity, which is really cool, because then you can just pay for the upgrade on the rail instead of getting a whole new system. But the Elite has works with the new Masso drivers, and so they are really by far. And then you get a whole like it's literally like having a large iPad that just runs your whole screen, and you can change tool paths, and you can do everything right there, but just at a more in-depth look. You can even change feeds and speeds on there, which is pretty cool. There's a lot.
Dynamically while it's running.
Yeah, there's a lot. I know a lot of people are upgrading the gantry, and then they're even upgrading into a spindle with the Masso, just because it is so powerful that the router almost just wouldn't. I don't know. I don't feel like a router, like a trim router, would be sufficient to run with that Elite machine. I feel like you would be doing yourself an injustice, but
Doesn't have enough ass, basically.
mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
trim router. She's talking about the like the Makita right here.
yeah. Like I've got one on mine, like
So
the Makita.
yeah,
But I mean, I
the
think it all
Masso
just
can.
depends. Go ahead.
No, you finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, I guess it just depends on what you want to do and what your experience is. In my opinion, if I had seen the Elite as a new CNCer, and I went and bought the biggest one they had at the time, which was the Journeyman, and I was like flabbergasted by that one, and like, how in the hell do I run this thing? And I've even been doing, CNC for a year and a half, and I'm looking at that thing going, holy smokes. Like that thing even looks a little confusing to me. I'm sure once I got my hands on it, it probably wouldn't be, but I don't know. As someone who is new, I think the Journeyman is more than sufficient for what you're probably going to be doing. If you know what you're doing and you're an experienced CNCer, by all means, like, go for it. So what were you going to say about the Masso?
So the Masso. So Tim was saying before about the Arduino board, right? What made CNC affordable for us was the invention of the Arduino board. It's a very inexpensive circuit board, right? That enable us to have 3-axis machines, but it does have its limitations. And the Masso control is basically another board that you'll see the industry moving away from Arduino and moving into Masso. The difference is Masso. Other companies are getting into this. Is it's the equivalent of an industrial CNC controller. Okay, so there's a lot more capability, a lot more G codes can be applied. I mean, there's G codes. There are some weird ass G codes out there, but
like I said, it's a legit machine. I mean, it's very cool. But if you're just looking to do something on a hobby level, I would definitely suggest the woodworker or the Journeyman or whatever size CNC you're looking for. But just if you're in that Onefinity family or you're looking for, Onefinity, definitely. But I would say if I were to upgrade, I would definitely be looking at trading in the gantry. And then my biggest new thing for me is I want to get a spindle, just because I'm in here all day with this thing running, and a spindle would be so much quieter. So I think that would be nice. But those are kind of my thoughts.
There's a little bit of talk about the USB in there.
Yeah.
They were talking about the USB and the drop off on the long mill. I actually replaced my USB cable, and that seemed to solve the problem. So,
V-Twin said at 907, for black signs, I use shelf paper instead of Oramask. Yes, I have tried that. I use the shelf paper too. Personally, I am like OCD with my paint. I've had problems with it pulling the paint and kind of like splintering the wood almost. So I feel like it's a little too strong, and I personally don't use it, but to each is, maybe you have figured out the magic between, and you need to do us all a favor and make us a video on how to do black paint, because I struggle with that.
Yeah. Okay. So we remember any women here, sign up to Women Who CNC, the Facebook group. It's owned by Kate, just for women, because they talk a different language. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and ain't it the truth? CNC entrepreneurs, of course, and um, the bits, right? The two releases, that the 33/16 compression bit that was released already to the CNC insiders with a special discount. They
Mm-hmm.
they wiped me out, and I watched my website data, and after it sold out, there were over 1,000 people that tried to get that bit.
Wow. So did you
So,
order more?
but there were just 1,000 people that couldn't get the bit because it sold out.
Yeah, I know, but
Right.
did you order
So,
more?
oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah.
I did. And the Beast, that will be coming out in a few weeks too. There's a lot to do in order to get these things ready. There's a lot of
Oh, I'm
back
sure.
end stuff. It's insane. When you get this level, you'll get it.
Hey, I do have a
Um,
question for you. I know a lot of people are asking this. So they are talking about EMI interference with your dust boot, because they're saying, like, with really long carves, if you don't have like a copper piping, like from your dust boot to somewhere,
yeah,
they're basically
electromagnetic.
getting like where their machine is like, and it's like
Yeah,
carving into their
it's actually
projects.
it's an important element. So EMI is electromagnetic interference, right? And what that
Right.
is basically as your machine's running, it's generating an electrical field around it. And what that's doing is that's you have your dust, your plastic dust hose going
Mm-hmm.
up and away, right? And plastic, it it brings in it holds a static charge. And so what you're doing is we're building up a static charge into that dust hose, right? And
Okay.
if it's not grounded, so what you want to do is have a grounding wire from the hose to a ground, right? I've got a metal coiled hose, so it's already grounded at my vacuum unit, right? So it's grounded all the way up. Um,
Okay.
so and what will happen is that static will discharge at some point, right? It's just holding
Okay.
too much. It's like a lightning strike, right? And that can throw that, you can get that feedback going back into your system. That'll throw off, throw off what it's trying to
Yeah.
do, right?
I've seen some
So
beautiful carves like in our
there
group,
was
and
there's
then
one
that like
today.
thing happens and they're like, I'm like, oh, I would just
That,
cry. I would just sit and cry.
that guy did the dragon. I did a 3D dragon. He was done with it.
Yes.
You see that
Yes.
one? And
Yes.
that
I saw
bit
it last
drove
night.
down in right to the dragon.
Yeah. I
And
was like,
he was done.
I seriously, I probably would have just cried. So we need to ground. So you basically, do you run the copper wire through your tubing? Is that what you're saying?
You can ground it right at the bottom. You
Okay.
you can ground you can run it inside, you can run it outside, doesn't matter. Actually, I would run it on the outside. Bare copper wire would be the best, right? Because it's picking up the static charge all the way up, and that is just
Okay.
discharging it. It's perpetually discharging it to ground.
Got it. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. I just wanted to make sure that I know there's lots of newbies that don't know that, and they're probably going to be wondering why is, yeah, Jack in the shop said, at Scotty killed two of my stepper drivers on my longboard. I had to replace them, only $13 each, but still,
But still,
but
when
still.
you get dead in the water, it pisses you off, and you're not sure what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daryl, he's having fun with his long mill. Excellent. And so if
Mm.
you have a tech choice, get shielded cables. Just to be
Hmm.
able to
Nice.
ferrite to your code. cable if you have a small length. What's ferrite?
Mm-hmm.
Is that an adapter or something?
I
No, not sure what that is. Okay, but
some of
anyway,
the
we
things
were
that
at
people
9.
talk CNC are, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we are at 9:30. I hope that everyone has gained something out of this, and Kate and I are always learning along the way, right? I learned from her.
absolutely.
Talk about Oramask. There she is. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, run a video on that.
I'm telling you, oh my gosh, I've been making signs for 7 years. I have so many signs. It's just bonkers. It's just bananas. So,
Yeah. So contact Kate if you want some one-on-one with their Vectric software, some CNC help. She doesn't do
yeah.
it for free, right? We got to respect people's time, and she has a skill,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
down in the description in Facebook above this video, her email's there, my email's there, and YouTube below this video in the description is contact information, and I will add
Gotcha.
things that we have talked about, like the Beast, the Hog, the 3/16 end mill, the Oramask, and other stuff. I got notes written down here, some of the videos we talked about, things like that. All right,
All the things.
brothers and sisters, until next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be here again. And this was a lot of fun.
Yes. So awesome
Yep.
seeing all y'all again. Bring us all your
Yep.
questions. Bring us all the good questions. So we all can learn
All right.
collectively.
Yep,
Adios.
it's a good way to do it. See ya.